Halo, sahabat Katadata. First of all, I'm very glad to be here with the Ambassador of European Union for Indonesia and Brunei, Mr. Vincent Piquet. Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Good afternoon. Very well, thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Welcome to our studio, Katadata. It's very glad and we are very happy to have you here. I think we want to have an interview with you and talk more about the relationship between Indonesia and the most recent development in the relationship, because as you know, Indonesia and European Union has been developing a robust connection and relationship for decades. However, in recent years, we witnessed some dispute and the relationship become more intense for both entities. For instance, Indonesia filed a lawsuit on nickel and steel on the WTO. So how do you see the relationship between Indonesia and European Union from your perspective?
From our perspective, the relationship is very good, and we have a very steady trade between us, investment as well. It can still grow. We believe that we haven't yet got the potential out of the trade and investment relations, and which is why we are negotiating this big free trade agreement called the CHEPA. But referring to the specific cases, yes, there's a dispute about one or two topics. Not dramatize it, I would say. It's something that we are busy resolving in the framework of the international trade rules of the WTO. And I'm very confident that we can come out of this in a positive manner and find solutions that are in the interest of both sides.
Okay, so you still see there's a good connection between Indonesia and European Union in general, right?
Certainly. I mean, we have no choice but to be partners, and for a very simple reason. The world is unstable at the moment, and at such a moment you seek stability by partnering with countries that you trust. And we trust Indonesia. We always say that we are very much like-minded in the way we look upon the fundamental values for the world, the multilateral rules-based order, etc. So that gives me confidence that we are going to continue to develop our relations positively.
Okay, I want to talk more specific about the latest regulation, the UA, that about deforestation and degradation, which quickly raised concerns among private sectors, especially in palm oil sectors. So can you give a brief explanation about that regulation?
The legislation is inspired by our wish to avoid that we, as consumers of certain products, commodities, cause deforestation in the countries where these commodities are produced. In other words, we buy a lot of palm oil from Indonesia, timber as well, and we want to continue buying these products. But we want to be sure that this doesn't mean that we are promoting the cutting of your beautiful forest. Now, for that reason, we are setting up a system for due diligence, for tracing the commodities from the market in Europe back to the source where they come from, and we'll be assessing whether or not deforestation has happened. How will we do that? It's going to be a fairly simple system. There's no specific task for the authorities of Indonesia. The task is for the importers in Europe, who must deliver a so-called due diligence statement saying that they are, to the best of their knowledge and according to the best information, the products have not caused the cutting of trees. And for doing that, all sorts of evidence can be used. We will try to rely wherever we can on things that already exist in Indonesia, also in Malaysia, with your sustainable palm oil, ISPO, sustainable palm oil system certification, and other evidence in order to, by using systems that exist, we minimize workload for the industry here.
Okay, so I mean, it's the cut-off date of the deforestation is 2020, right?
Yes, indeed. Chosen because that's also the date in the Sustainable Development Goals that the Indonesia and all other global partners have subscribed to. It's also meant as a signal that we're not going to punish countries for whatever happened in the past, and we know that things weren't always right in the past, but that's none of our business now. We're going to look at current conduct, current policy, current performance, and that we're going to do that in our trading partners abroad, but also at our own companies back home. That's very important to stress. This is going to be. There's no discrimination in favor of our own companies compared to companies here in Indonesia.
Okay, so it's not will target any specific commodities?
We have, in the first instance, chosen about 8 commodities. We have done that on the basis of studies of, on the one hand, what we are importing, and on the other hand, products that have a link to tropical forests in particular. So that is our starting point. It's not cast in stone, but I mean to say that in case at some point we find out that there are no problems as regards palm oil and deforestation, then we can simply take that commodity of palm oil out of our list of commodities for assessment.
So earlier in February, Indonesia and Malaysia made collaboration to fight against, quote unquote, the discrimination of palm oil. So the two countries are strong together. How do you respond to that?
By inviting both countries for discussions, and I understand I was told today that the senior responsible persons in government of Indonesia and Malaysia will be coming and paying a visit to the EU headquarters in Brussels to just clear the air of the wherever there are misunderstandings, and also to try and make sure that that we strike the right chord in preparing the implementation, because we're very clear that we want to minimize administration, red tape, and all of that in doing this. So that is. For that reason, it's essential that we consult the key countries that produce these commodities. Okay. I speak here with a lot with the government. I speak almost every day with representatives of the companies, whether it's palm oil or timber or coffee or coconut oil, what have you. So I'm try to explain the system and the way it works, and to take away concerns. And on the whole, I think that there is an understanding of where we come from. There is also a recognition by my interlocutors that this is a common goal that we have to pursue. Indonesia doesn't want to cut forest, wants to stop deforestation. So our long-term goals are identical, and it's just a matter of finding the best way to realize the goals.
Okay, I think I'm aware that you've spent much time with smallholders farmers in Indonesia, from timber, coffee farmers, and etc. How do you see them? How do they prepare for this new regulation?
There is a period now of about a year and a half, almost 2 years, available for us to do that preparation. So right now we are in the phase of spreading the understanding and the awareness. The next phase, I think, is we are about to start. That is to try to talk in practical terms amongst technicians. What we can do to make it work in the easiest and the best possible way, and then there will be no doubt a phase of some, again, awareness raising amongst the producers to make it work, and that is something, of course, that in the first instance will need to be done by the producer organizations, by the government itself. But we are definitely, as EU, going to support that process as well.
Okay. I think my last question will be: Indonesia will be a chairmanship for the South Asian country, ASEAN countries this year. How do you see the Indonesian role in the ASEAN chairmanship, and how the relationship between the two regions?
First of all, the big theme for the presidency is economic. ASEAN is an epicenter for growth, and we recognize that theme, that goal, as relevant for the region, but also for us. And we're keen to collaborate with Indonesia as ASEAN chair. In all respects, definitely on the trade and trade facilitation agenda between EU and ASEAN. Secondly, also on the green and sustainability program, which is quite prominent in the Indonesian presidency program as well. So that is another priority. And lastly, also with attention for the global issues that all of us need to face up to at the moment. It's an unsteady time, as I said earlier on, and we feel that ASEAN looks at all these issues with very similar motivations as ours. We are not identical, but very much like-minded and on the same wavelength in addressing the big strategic topics of the world at present.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. It's a really nice interview with you, and thank you for your generous time, and have a good day. Thank you.
Terima kasih banyak.
Terima kasih.